Okay, get this. You are not going to believe this statistic we found.
Oh, what have you got?
Some data showing top earners paying up to 37 times more for their health insurance.
37 times. Wow.
Yeah, 37. It just makes you stop and think, right? So that's what we're diving into today, this huge difference, what it means for fairness, and honestly, the future of how we fund healthcare.
And it's interesting where this info comes from. We're looking at analysis shared by a member of the National Assembly's Health and Welfare Committee.
A key group, then.
Exactly. They oversee health policy. And their analysis covers both regional subscribers and people insured through work.
So what's the mission here? What are we trying to figure out?
Well, simply put, we want to really understand these, pretty significant gaps between what different income groups pay in premiums and what they get back in benefits.
Okay, let's start with the regional folks. The numbers there sound wild.
They are pretty stark. The top 10% income group, they're paying over 30 times more in premiums compared to the bottom 10%.
30 times. That's just a massive multiplier.
It really is. But here's the key thing. The benefits they receive, they aren't 30 times higher. Not even close.
So it's not like paying more automatically means you get drastically more healthcare services.
Precisely. It doesn't scale like that. And actually, if you look at the other end, lower income regional subscribers generally receive significantly more in benefits than they contribute in premiums.
Which points towards a redistribution model.
Exactly. It suggests the system is set up, intentionally to help support those with lower incomes, with higher earners contributing more to cover costs for others.
Okay, so that's regional. Does the same thing happen with workplace insurance? Is it the same kind of picture?
It's a similar pattern, yes, though the difference isn't quite as dramatic, maybe less extreme.
But still there.
Oh, definitely. Higher income employees are still paying substantially more into the system. And what's really interesting is that once you get past the sort of mid-income levels, people generally start paying more in premiums than they receive back in benefits.
So even within workplace plans, you've got that element of higher earners effectively subsidizing others.
Yes, that wealth redistribution effect is clearly visible there too.
Yeah, here's the part that makes me really think about the long term. I heard this gap, this difference in contributions, isn't static. It's actually expected to get wider.
That's right. And the why is important.
Why is that happening?
Well, the information suggests that the maximum premium, the ceiling on what workplace subscribers can pay, that's been going up over time.
Okay.
But the minimum premium, the floor, has stayed the same. So naturally, as that top end rises and the bottom stays put, the burden increasingly shifts towards those higher earners.
Right, stretching the difference out over time.
Exactly. It amplifies the imbalance that's already there.
And this brings us back to that lawmaker on the Health and Welfare Committee. They flagged this as a potential issue, didn't they?
Yes, they raised a concern. While everyone understands the goal is to support lower income individuals, the question is whether this, growing disproportionate burden on higher earners could eventually cause problems for the whole system's stability.
Problems like what? People opting out or just feeling it's unfair?
It could be a mix of things. It's really about the long-term viability. Can a system remain stable and perceived as fair when one group carries such a significantly larger share of the financial weight? There might be a tipping point.
So it's not just about the numbers, but the sustainability. And did they suggest any solutions, any ideas on how to fix this?
Yeah, the suggestion floated was the need for a, quote, comprehensive redesign of the premium structure itself.
A redesign? Like what specifically?
Well, it could mean rethinking the income brackets used to calculate premiums, maybe adjusting the thresholds between brackets, or possibly adding more brackets to make the steps more gradual, trying to find a more balanced way to distribute the costs.
So boiling it all down, the main takeaway seems to be this really big and apparently growing gap between what higher earners pay into health insurance and what they get back. They're essentially subsidizing the system quite heavily.
That's the core finding, yes. They are subsidizing others to a large extent.
Which leads us to that final thought for you, the listener.
Exactly. It makes you consider, can a system like this, with such a heavily skewed financial load on one group, actually stay sustainable in the long run? And maybe more importantly, what happens if we don't address this imbalance through some kind of structural reform? It really forces you to think about fairness and ultimately how we want to fund healthcare for everyone going forward.